kitchen, Miss Cindy's kitchen. I've got another cheese recipe to show you. And this one was actually, I found online, and the original poster was from Ireland. So the oven temperature says 180 degrees Celsius, which I believe is equivalent to like 354 Fahrenheit. So anyway, this one is very simple. It's got 3 primary ingredients. That is 1 cup flour, just regular all-purpose flour, 2 cups of shredded cheddar. Off the block is best for combining recipes. A 1/4 cup of butter softened to room temperature. I almost always have butter softened to room temperature simply because hard butter, I just don't like it. And then it calls for a 1/2 teaspoon of seasoning of your choice, salt or herbs. So I'm just going to use some garlic salt, and I'm going to use a food processor to mix this. As you can tell, this food processor has been around a while. It is probably from the 80s or the 90s. My mom had it first. She passed it on to me because she really didn't cook nearly as much as I do. So 1/4 cup of butter. Gonna scrape all the remnants off that, and gonna scrape that there. Then we're gonna combine all the other ingredients. We hear a racing car going through our neighborhood. I'm like, alrighty then. And then the 1 cup of flour. And again, this recipe said to use a blender, but the device pictured was a food processor, so I decided to use my food processor. So now we're going to pulse this until the dough comes together and it crumbles. It's coming together. I'm going to check it and make sure that there's nothing sticking to the sides. So I'm just going to do this, and it looks pretty uniform as far as the dustiness. It looks like a consistent crumb texture. So the next part of this is to add water, and it says to add up to 5 tablespoons of water until you get to the correct consistency. So I'm going to start with just like a tablespoon and then see where we're at. It's starting to come together a little bit. Let me pull that off. And I don't think I really need the cover on it right now. It's starting to come together, starting to form a dough. And it's almost there. A little bit more. I think that's pretty much ready. Let me just do a little bit more so it's not quite so dry. What do you think?
It's getting there.
Yeah, let's do a tiny bit more. Alright, I think that's pretty gathered together. Alright, that's a nice consistency of dough. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna scoop it out of here, put it into this bowl, cover it with plastic wrap, put it in the fridge for 30 minutes till it gets nice and cool and set, and then we're gonna roll it out and make some cute cracker shapes. So while we wait for that, we are going to while it sits in the fridge, just make sure you've liked and subscribed and shared this video, and leave us a comment, and we'll bring you back when it's ready to roll out some crackers. Alright, and we're back, and our dough has chilled for 30 minutes. And we are now going to roll it out onto a floured surface.
Now, apparently, I guess you had to add your garlic salt after.
Yeah, I forgot about that, but I forgot to season it. And thankfully, I tasted the dough before I put it in the fridge because I'm like, I forgot the salt. So I just mixed in about a half a teaspoon of garlic salt, just massaged it into the dough, and then on a floured surface, well, I guess this is firmly set because it doesn't want to leave the bowl. All right, we got a nice little disc of dough here, and plop it down, and you can see we've got the herbs from the garlic salt. And now I'm going to sprinkle the flour on here. And I might need to get some more flour. But anyway.
Alright, so you got your dough out.
Yep, and I have some flour in this repurposed Parmesan canister. So make sure you save these. They're very good for shaker tops. And I've also heard that these lids actually fit on the top of mason jars. So just dust your dough disc and roll it out. And it says to a thickness of about 2 millimeters. So 3 to 4 millimeters thick. Well, I don't have a millimeter measure. In fact, I was going to bring in the ruler, but I forgot to bring it back in from the garage. I'm just going to roll it thin like pie crust because I think that would make a good cracker. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine how yummy these are going to taste? Most kids and adults love cheese crackers. So, I think that's about good. We don't want them to get too thin. And for our two shapes, what I'm going to do is make as many cutouts as I possibly can. Then pull off the uncut dough, leaving behind the cut shapes. Then put those on the baking pan. And then roll out the remaining dough. So we've got a Mickey and a star. So you can use any shape you want, just something that's a small cookie cutter. So I'm going to make several cutouts and try to make them as close as you can to each other to minimize the dough being rolled and re-rolled. So just go around and make some cutouts. I'm just going to make a bunch of Mickeys and then I'll make some stars. Because everybody's a star in my book. Mm-hmm. All right. We're going back and watching our Disney videos from years past. It's so cool. All right. Family vacations are important. All right. And I think if I crisscross them. All right. See if my theory works. Let me make some stars. Alright, so why don't we pause while I cut out the shapes, and then I will show you what they look like going onto the sheet pan. Alright, and as you can tell, it made quite a bit of cookies. I mean crackers. I normally make cookies. Anyway, so they're not going to spread much, so I put them kind of close together. And they each, I'm pricking them so that way they won't get air bubbles. So once I do that, I'm going to bake them for 10 minutes at 350, and then we'll bring you back and show you the baked crackers. So these cooked at 350 degrees for 10 minutes. And look at the yumminess. So nice crispy crackers. So anyway, we're going to let them cool, and then we'll do a taste test. But they have to cool for 10 minutes before we can package them up in an airtight container. So anyway, just make sure you like and subscribe and share to your friends and leave us a comment, and we'll be right back. And our crackers have cooled off for the taste test, but I also wanted to revise the cooking instructions because my initial cooking time of 10 minutes at 350 was not nearly enough. They were too chewy, more like a biscuit rather than a cracker. So what I would recommend is cooking them at 375, so upping the temperature and the time to about 15 minutes. Just check them because they should be nice and toasty looking. See,
Yep.
the tray that cooked on the top rack cooked better than the tray that cooked on the bottom rack. Usually it's the other way around. I don't know if it was the air circulating. But anyway, Tyler, why don't you come do a taste test?
Oh, they're done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
He came in the kitchen with the question on his schoolwork, so he's going to do a taste
Yeah.
test.
Down
So,
and I.
you're a star. So you need a star. It's cheese crackers. You love cheese crackers.
It's like a big Cheez-It.
It's like a big, thick Cheez-It.
Big thick cheese it.
It's like a big, soft Cheez-It.
Okay.
Big, soft Cheez-It. I think baking them a little longer would make them taste better. I think rolling them thinner and cooking them a little bit longer and at a higher temperature it would be the key to a crisper cracker. So, anyway, this one is a little thinner and it got a little crispier. So anyway, thank you again for joining us for another episode of Miss Cindy's Kitchen, and come back again soon for another episode.
Thank you for watching Miss Cindy's Kitchen. To get more recipes like this one, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for notifications when new videos are uploaded. Share it out to your friends, family, neighbors, and leave us a comment to let us know how this recipe worked for you. And don't forget to hit that like button. Again, thank you for watching Miss Cindy's Kitchen.